With the Pentagon UFO unit in the spotlight, report mentions off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. Some of the objects were man-made materials, but others are questionable. No longer in the shadows, Pentagon UFO unit will make some findings public. For over a decade, the program, now tucked inside the Office of Naval Intelligence, has discussed mysterious events in classified briefings. As early as 2017, disclosure began. Despite Pentagon statements that it disbanded a once covert program to investigate unidentified flying objects, the effort remains underway. And how do we know this? They told us. Renamed and tucked inside the Office of Naval Intelligence, where officials continue to study mystifying encounters between military pilots and extremely high-speed unidentified aerial vehicles, Pentagon officials will now discuss the program, which is not classified but deals with classified matters. Yet, it appeared last month in a Senate committee report outlining spending on the nation's intelligence agencies for the coming year. The report said the program, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, was to standardize collection and reporting on sightings of unexplained aerial vehicles, and was to report at least some of its findings to the public within 180 days after passage of the Intelligence Authorization Act. Well, take a look at the speed of that baby. While retired officials involved with the effort, including Harry Reid from the former Senate Majority Leader, hope the program will seek evidence of vehicles from other worlds, its main focus is on discovering whether another nation, especially any potential adversary, is using breakout aviation technology that could threaten the U.S. Now, the Nazis, as early as 1945, were working on reversed alien technology. So we've had a very long time to develop this. Senator Marco Rubio, the Florida Republican, who is the acting chairman of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, told a CBS affiliate in Miami this month that he was primarily concerned about reports of unidentified aircraft over American military bases, and that it was the government's interest to find out who or what is responsible. He expressed concerns that China or Russia or some other adversary may have some technological leap that allows them to conduct this sort of activity. Mr. Rubio said that the unidentified aerial vehicles over the U.S. bases possibly exhibited technologies not in the American arsenal. But he also noted maybe there is a completely sort of boring explanation for it, but we need to find out. I don't think there's anything boring about vehicles that can go thousands of miles an hour, rotate as if there is no gravity, like we're seeing here, and have been confirmed by the U.S. military for decades, by the way. This is just a tippy touch that they're releasing. In 2017, the New York Times disclosed the existence of a predecessor unit called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. That's what these videos are coming from. But he also noted there is completely sort of boring explanation for it, but we need to find out. There is nothing boring about any of the videos that have been released. These are aerial craft that maneuver in ways that are completely impossible using our current technology. These are aircraft that can move at the speed of sound, shift and accelerate to thousands of miles an hour instantaneously, can rotate as if there is no wind shear or buffering. So, a lot of unexplained questions. People working with the program said it was still in operation in 2017 and beyond. Statements later confirmed by the Defense Department. So, this covert group has been in existence since the 40s and is now just being revealed to you today. Is this soft disclosure? Is this soft disclosure before full disclosure? It's anyone's guess. The program was begun in 2007 under the Defense Intelligence Agency and was then placed within the Office of Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. which remains responsible for its oversight. But its coordination within the intelligence community will be carried out by the Office of Naval Intelligence as of now, as described in the Senate budget bill last month. The program never lapsed in those years, but little was disclosed about post-2017 operations as it was classified. The Pentagon program's previous director, Luis Elizondo, a former military intelligence officer who resigned in October 2017 after 10 years with the program, confirmed that the new task force evolved from advanced aerospace programs. It no longer has to hide in the shadows, Mr. Elizondo said. It will have a new transparency. Mr. Elizondo is among a small group of former government officials and scientists with security clearance who, without presenting physical proof, say they are convinced that objects of undetermined origin have crashed to Earth with materials retrieved for study. Hello, Bob Lazar. Maybe he's telling the truth. For more than a decade, the Pentagon program has been conducting classified briefings for congressional committees, aerospace company executives, and other government officials. According to interviews with the program participants and unclassified briefing documents, in some cases, earthly explanations have been found for previously unexplained incidents. Even lacking a plausible terrestrial explanation does not make an extraterrestrial one the most likely. Mr. Reid, the former Democratic senator from Nevada who pushed for funding of the earlier UFO program when he was the majority leader, said he believed the crashes of objects of unknown origin may have occurred and that the retrieved materials should be studied. After looking into this, I came into the conclusion that there were reports, some were substantive, some not so substantive, and there were actual materials that the government and the private sector had in their possession, Mr. Reid said in an interview. So we have advanced materials in our possession that we do not know where they came from, in other words. No crash artifacts have been publicly produced for independent verification. However, some retrieved objects, such as unusual metallic fragments, were later identified from lab studies as man-made. Eric Davis, an astrophysicist who worked as a subcontractor and then a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program since 2007, said that in some cases, examination of the materials had so far failed to determine their source and led them to conclude we couldn't make it ourselves. So that is quite interesting. The constraints of discussion on classified programs, the ambiguity of information cited in unclassified slides from the briefings have put officials who have studied UFOs in the position of stating their views without presenting any hard evidence. Mr. Davis, who now works for Aerospace Corporation, a defense contractor, said he gave a classified briefing to the Defense Department agency as recently as March about retrievals from off-world vehicles not made on Earth. Let me repeat that. Mr. Davis, an astrophysicist who works as a subcontractor, gave a classified briefing to a Defense Department agency as recently as this March about retrievals from off-world vehicles not made on Earth. Holy macaroni. Committee staff members did not respond to requests for comment on the issue. Public fascination about the topic of USOs has drawn President Trump who told his son Donald Trump Jr. in June interview that he knew very interesting things about Roswell, the city in New Mexico that is central to speculation about the existence of UFOs. The president demurred when asked if he would declassify any information on Roswell. I have to think about that one, he said. So, full disclosure may be coming, and which is glorious. Either way, Mr. Reid said, more should be made public to clarify what is known about what is not. It's extremely important that information about the discovery of physical materials or retrieved craft from otherworldly places come out soon, he said. That is amazing. So, is there full disclosure? Are we looking at alien aircraft, or are we looking at alien technology reverse engineered over the decades that's now being used by foreign entities? Very scary possibilities here. Hope you got something out of the video. The one thing that we can say is true here is that unidentified flying objects are real. They're flying in our aerospace. The Navy, the Air Force have been recording them. And now the governments are disclosing them. Share this video with like-minded people. No longer in the shadows, Pentagon UFO unit makes some findings public. In the next 180 days, there will be disclosure, which will not result in closure, by the way. Just another cog in the wheel of the manipulation of the society we live in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks to all of our one-time donors, our Patreons who stick with us. The most important person is the person that shares this video. Be safe. We love you. And that is a boom to knowledge.
It's rotated. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not.
That is LNS, dude.
Well, if there's like...
Look at that thing.
It's rotated.
Nickel 6-1 Tango Roger.
Oh, go ahead! Woohoo!
Roger. That's troubleshooting.
Did you box moving target?
02. No, I took an auto track.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Wow, look at that.